This got me banned from Rumanoid Encounters, and I just need advice. I was at my aunt's house in Ohio and she lost her dog, Penny, in the woods behind her house. Me, my sister, and my aunt got flashlights and went out looking for the dog. I got lost somehow even though I looked away for just a moment. I started smelling static in the air and my flashlight was dead at this point, and I was yelling for my aunt or my sister, but nobody answered. I was walking around in search of the tree line when I heard fast footsteps. I turned around and saw a thin stick figure running at me, waving its arms like those things outside car dealerships. I ran as fast as I could and eventually got out and fell unconscious. When I woke up, we were driving home and I never told my parents what happened. Please give me advice. This just happened. So, about 1:30 a.m. I went to Cookout for a shake BCS. The guy in front of me looked at me pulling up with my window down, ignored the cashier trying to take his order, got out of his car and attacked to approach my open window to ask me a question, and got offended when I said, "Dude, you're being weird. Go away." Moving to the other lane. If that's not enough, he left the drive-through lane without ordering to circle and stare at me while passing, only to go get in line again. I got away and took a crazy route home with a stop by a fire station just in case. Men, don't try to approach women you don't know in the middle of the night. Also, don't inconvenience cashiers with your stupidity. Drive-through is not a dating site. Just stop. Time went 20 minutes backwards. I was walking and I was trying to check the time to make sure I wouldn't be late. I like going for long walks, and I checked and it said 1:48 p.m. and I thought it's fine, and I was just walking my dog listening to music. When I checked again it said 1:28 p.m. I really can't explain this. I was confused on what's going, and I took this trail a lot and nothing ever happened to me like this before. Has this happened to anyone else? I know this is not scary or huge time gap or even really interesting, but I am at a loss. I really can't explain this. I would appreciate some advice or knowing I am not alone. Thanks for reading this. Waking up and seeing foggy, misty people standing around my bed. As child, I was reflecting on a recurring childhood experience. I've openly discussed it with friends, but no one shares the same childhood memory. Curious, I've come to Reddit to see if anyone else has had a similar experience. As a child, I had incredibly vivid dreams and struggled with falling asleep alone, a challenge that persists slightly to this day. Between ages 9 to 10, I often woke up in the night to see several white smoky/misty figures standing at the end of my bed. They appeared to be conversing and I knew it was about me, but I couldn't hear them. This used to understandably scare me. After multiple occurrences over the years, one night, I asked them if they needed to watch over me, could they please do it without being visible, because seeing them made me scared, and I never saw them again after that. Has anyone else had a similar experience? Walmart parking lot. I work at a Walmart and the creeps always seem to find me. This guy, I don't know if he was a creep, but it didn't seem right. I was leaving work for the day and I was airing out my car because it was hot out, so I had my door open. This guy comes up from behind the car and was like, "I got a question." I got creeped out by this because I park in a semi-isolated area. There was no one else near us, so I was like, "No," as I closed the door. I could hear him do that suck your teeth noise and say, "I only got a question," but I still left anyway. Don't ask a female by herself, go ask someone in the store or someone in a group. Walmart shoe fetish. Dude, years ago I was in Walmart. I was probably around 19 or early 20s because I was by myself browsing around. I had just gotten off work and was wearing a knee-length skirt. I was looking in the shoe section and some guy said to me, "My girlfriend has about the same size shoe as you. Do you mind trying these on? I'd like to see how they look." I always try to be helpful and guess I was stupid and naive because I tried the high heels he gave me on. He asked me to come closer so he could see them, and the creep started rubbing my ankle and up my shin. I was so taken aback because I wasn't expecting this and yanked the shoes off and ran away. I was going to report him to security, but by that time he was gone. Weird alien encounter in Veneto, Italy. 1998. Location: Veneto, Italy. Date: December 19, 1998. Giuseppe, a local truck driver, was awakened by a roaring noise. Looking out, he saw a bright object with several windows and a brilliant glow underneath, which apparently was very close to the ground. The object was over 30 feet in length. He then saw two beings, 3 feet tall, walking near the object. They were dressed in gray coveralls and moved with a mechanical motion. The witness was less than 100 feet from the object, and after 30 minutes the beings went into the object, which ascended. A circular mark was found on the ground with holes in an equilateral triangle, 13.5 feet on each side. A glassy material was found at the landing site. Source: UFO Elieni in Italia, Moreno Tambellini. Other sources: Mauricio Vega, Antonio Chomiento. Weird occurrence from childhood. When I was about 5 or 6, my day camp took us on a field trip to the city. We were going into FAO Schwartz, the old building. I was the last in the group, and for some reason there was no counselor at the back of the line. A white man with long hair tied back in a ponytail, all I can remember, grabbed me and tried to pull me away from the group. I fought him off and ended up getting back with my other campmates. I told my parents, obviously, and they confronted the counselors. From time to time I think about that incident and wonder if there were any kidnappings that occurred in the early 2000s around the tri-state area. I tried to Google but found nothing. Either way, I'm glad I fought back. Welcome new users stopping by for a peek. I hope you enjoy our little piece of Reddit. We have a lot of great, interesting, and downright scary encounter reports from all over the globe. For those who don't know, humanoids are creatures that have the general shape of a human, i.e. arms, legs, torso and a head, but aren't actually considered human. For instance, Bigfoot is a humanoid, a robot could be considered humanoid, alien greys are humanoid. People have been reporting humanoid encounters as far back as we can find written language. I hope this helps you understand what we are about a little better. So check us out, and if you like the place, please don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you like the report, don't forget to upvote, that way I can tell which types of reports to post. We're very glad you're here and thanks for taking the time. Sniggity and the mods. What are some of your paranormal experiences? I'll go first. When I was a young kid, I used to sleep in my parents' room as I always experienced strange things in my own room. Whenever we'd go to bed, I would randomly wake up throughout the night and see white shadow figures all over the room, from walking to crawling on the walls and ceilings. Another experience I had in my room was when we got back home from the shops and there was this black figure laying on my bed. I had a bunk bed. He was laying on the top bed and broke all my Barbies' heads off of their bodies and threw them on the floor. Till this day I cannot sleep with the light off when I'm alone. I'm 25 now. I was probably about 6 or 7 around that time. What did she see last year? My mom called me panicked about what she just saw when driving home. To this day nobody has an answer, and I'm curious if anybody has an idea. She was driving on the highway, between 2 small towns where most the drive consists of farmland and patches of wooded area. What she described was a skinny dog-like creature standing on its hind legs. However, that's not what makes it weird. Its legs were bending backwards. When it noticed the car, she watched it grab the deer carcass on the road and drag it off the side of the road and into the wooded area. I tried finding similar stories, but the closest thing I found was the Dogman in Michigan. However, it didn't have backwards hind legs, and we live in Missouri, so that hypothesis went out the door. Anybody have ideas or similar experiences? What scary story still scares to this day? The story that gives me the chills is the story of a mother and daughter driving home late one night and spotting a girl curled up on the side of the road. Upon asking the girl if she needs help, the girl turns to them, revealing she has no face. I first saw it on the TV show Paranormal Witness in the episode The Lost Girl. https://paranormal-witness.fandom.com/wiki/the_lost_girl. I heard it again recently on a Mr. Baldwin Top 3 Scariest Stories video, https://youtube.be/k402xex video. The subject story is at timestamp 535. Something about it just freaks me out. I guess because everyone has been on the road, many at night, and the possibility of seeing something scary could be likely. It's probably just an urban legend, but the thought is still frightening. So what story scares you, even after you've heard it? When I was a kid, I used to play a lot of games with the neighborhood kids late at night: tag, capture the flag, hide and seek, etc. There was some added anxiety to it being pitch black. I would always wear pitch black to have an extra edge. And I was once chasing this other kid for 5 minutes, through trees and around bushes, and he was wearing all white. I couldn't catch him, but I thought that was stupid for wearing white. Once everyone was caught, we all joined each other at the center of the backyard. Before we could move on to the next round, my friend said, "You in the white hoodie." Game's over, come here. It was at that moment that we realized that our entire party was present. And that someone, in a white hoodie, had been watching us from a distance. We rushed inside real fast. While driving to my house with my dad, I saw a bird materialize out of thin air. As unbelievable as this may sound, I know what saw today. About 2.5 hours ago from me writing this, I was in the car with my father driving to our house, and while I was looking out of the car window, I saw an entire bird materialize out of nowhere. No, I didn't look away from that window, I was staring in that general direction where it happened. Where the bird was, the air had this aura of discoloration around it, making it appear bronze-colored and slightly transparent. It happened so fast that I couldn't take photos, it was almost instant. I believe the bird was a falcon, however it appeared slightly larger than a normal one, and its feathers were almost completely black. Of course I haven't told my parents because I assumed they wouldn't believe me, even though I am confident that I saw it. Whistling at night. I live in southern Missouri, middle of nowhere. Few neighbors that live several hundred yards away and are pretty old, and nobody is usually out. It is winter, so they are never outside, and it gets dark around 6 p.m. It was 8 p.m. and I was in my shop working when I heard a whistle in the tune of a song, sounding like it was just outside my shop. Nobody had been around, or I would have known. It went on for about a minute and I got chills down my spine and a sudden fear rush over me, so I ran inside to get my wife to come out with me in case it happened again, but never did, wondering if anyone else has had any similar experiences with this or know what it could have been.